Good morning, my name is Kirsty Dignam and I'm here to look at the collective energies for this week. I'm really feeling a spatial awareness. I was going to say a spaced out awareness, but it isn't. It's a spatial awareness of... So what's the difference? I feel more grounded in my own feelings, in my own awareness, and I am working with the Temperance card today. I'm journeying with the tarot and have been for the last 14 days and will continue until I finish all the major archetypes. So it's to be expected that I feel this way because Temperance dips her toe in the collective consciousness, or his toe in the collective consciousness, while remaining focused on what they are here to do. That feels very poignant. This morning I have woken up and I can feel a big monumental shift that I can't quite pinpoint. It feels individual and it feels collective. I can feel it in my sacral, I can feel it beneath my ribs, I can feel it in my solar plexus. And there's a lot of gurgling going on physically beneath the surface, which again feels quite poignant. There's a lot of bubbling up. And as I do that, my fingers are like rising like seeds from the ground. And we do have a new moon. I think it's tomorrow. I think it's in Aquarius. And we also have Imbolc, the change of seasons. And I'm very aware of that energy. What else am I feeling? It almost feels like a shock to the system, but that would be my own interpretation of previous experience with this type of energy. And it feels relevant to look at how we have encountered change before, how we have perceived it, and maybe digging a bit deeper, delving a bit deeper, opening up a bit more to what it is we're actually feeling. So I can feel shifts. I can feel movement of water within my body, within my lymphatic system, within the collective. I can feel movement of emotions. But it feels very cleansing. You know, my initial knee-jerk reaction was shock, but it actually feels very cleansing and emptying. That's what it feels like an emptying of what was. Is there anything else? So when I go into whether or not there's anything else, my right shoulder tenses up and the right side of my body tenses up. And for me, that really resonates with the feeling that I need to figure something out, that I need to do something with what I'm feeling. And actually, when I breathe and let that go, the movement occurs anyway. The movement occurs anyway. So releasing the expectations of what we may need to do with what we're feeling this week. Something that came up in conversation with a dear friend of mine this morning was bracketing off our own emotions when we are in particular situations so that we don't make things personal or take things personally. That can be quite difficult, especially when we're caught up in the belief that everything that is reflected is relevant to us, everything we do is relevant to another person. But if we can be aware of our own emotions, if we can separate them from what is going on around us right now, we can truly embody that stepping of our toes into the collective, that yeah, fair enough. It's, awareness of what is going on around us is totally irrelevant if we're not aware of what's going on within us. Okay, so this week in particular, being very mindful of what's occurring within us, concentrating on that, having a knowledge of what is occurring, but really being aware of what's going on within us this week in particular. That's what forms whatever actions are needed. So I'm going to get straight to the cards. This week the energy feels very direct. Even my hair has gone straight. It's gone deadpan, which is very unusual for me. It's normally a tangled mess or curly mess or whatever. but it's gone very straight and very deadpan this morning. There's focus to be had. There's focus to be given and received in relationships and where it is we are going now, without complication. That's what I hear. Don't complicate it, Kirsty. It's very much in my throat. When it comes to communication this week, don't overcomplicate it. Get to the point. Stay focused. Chop wood, carry water. What can I do in that moment? Well, in this moment, we're going to read into the best ways for us collectively to navigate the energies. And that will resonate with you or not. Take on board what does, let go of what doesn't. Okay. Collective energies this week. So what I'm really feeling, I'm in the process of setting up a tarot course, possibly in April. And one of the things I want to discuss in the course is the sacredness of reading. When we read the tarot cards, when we read each other, when we read our own energy, when we look out for any signs or synchronicities or whatever, we can receive them on a surface level. No right or wrong, no judgment there. You know, a quick fire answer for a quick fire question. But this week in particular, if you want deeper answers, go deeper into the sacredness of the energy that you're connecting to. So one of the things I'm going to address in the course is, you know, tarot for me personally are keys to the subconscious, our own and the collective. They are meditation tools full of symbolisms and images and numbers based on archetypes that are woven throughout time and space. They are a reflection of us. Without that recognition, whether it's tarot cards, signs, synchronicities, each other, without that recognition, we lose the sacredness. So I've seen a lot of videos, and again, there's no judgment there, it's an observation, where people are shuffling the cards and they're whacking through them and they're flying everywhere. And for me personally, there feels a lack of connection to the energy that they're working with. It's sacred. It's taking a moment out to seek counsel for what is occurring. Find the time to do that this week with yourself, with each other, whatever it is you connect to for guidance. Really find the time to recognize how empowering it can be when we acknowledge what it is we're connecting to. So, okay. Yeah. To avoid knee-jerk answers and questions, patience is required to see all angles of what is going on. Oh, okay, I'm going to put them to two. Put them to one side. No. I'm not going to put the energies to one side. I'm going to acknowledge them and then bring them back home to the pack. So the cards that have come out are the Nine of Swords and the Three of Pentacles. And what I'm really feeling here is there is potential to move forward with the very things that have kept us awake. But it is about really connecting to any help that's there, any advice that's there, any guidance that is there. Including in our dreams, including the very things that are keeping us awake. You know, I can't remember who, I think I might have seen it from a quote of Black Elk and Eliza White Buffalo, who I totally recommend looking up on Facebook and on Instagram. And there was something there about only when you know your enemy can you diffuse the situation, or something like that. Only when you know what it is that's going on in your subconscious, only when you know what it is truly that's keeping you awake, that's causing concerns or worries, by really delving deep, only when you know the question that you are trying to ask, can you truly seek the answers. There's a lot of medicine in the things in our life we may not like, but it is about seeing everything from all angles. Okay. I feel peace with that, which may be one of the answers that comes up this week, to feel peace with that acknowledgement now on our path. how to best navigate the energies this week. Now I hear it, just get on with it. Okay, so Monday. Temperance has come back out for Monday, which is the card I'm working with. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Overall, we're going to have 2. Okay. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. When I pulled out Saturday's card, my hand felt quite shaky. It felt quite, oh goodness me, like this is what I'm offering. And it feels like on the Saturday in particular to really remain grounded in what it is you are now offering in order to move forward, because we have the Knight of Pentacles there. A week of some major arcanas, 3 major arcanas, Temperance, Justice and the Star. 3 is birth. It is creativity. It is taking what was, taking what is and moving it forward. And for that we have Temperance, Justice and the Star. And it almost feels like I want to keep repeating this week, regardless what happens. We have Temperance, Justice and the Star. Temperance, Justice and the Star. Staying focused, holding court, witnessing what is occurring, becoming your own karma, your own justice here, choosing to move forward towards that higher vision. Those are the energies that are guiding. It may not feel that way this week. You know, we have an awful lot of, well, not an awful lot, actually, that's an assumption. We have 2 sword cards here. But what I immediately saw was a lot of air energy. So it may feel like we are going into our minds. It may feel like we want to go into our head, away from it all. Put that into perspective with what is actually occurring this week. Maybe by going into our minds, by really questioning our questions, the answers will be there. Maybe it is a time to really think this week in particular. So let's bring it back to some kind of focus, shall we? Which feels, again, very driven this week. Whatever's going on, keep bringing it back into some kind of focus. So Monday we have Temperance, which for me is very poignant because it's the card that I'm with today. It's the card that I'm working with today. And on this card, go back to that first. The reason it feels very relevant is almost like my own journey is parallel to the collective, to what is actually occurring, which remembering that this week, remembering every step we take is actually forming part of what is occurring around us. So on this card, we do have daffodils in the background there, which is Imbolc. You know, you can see them all coming up outside. And Temperance also has red wings. God, it's really blurry. Really blurry. Which is ironic, because this morning's guidance was very much about anonymous angels in our life. I'd dreamt of many people that I didn't know, and I couldn't recall my dreams. And I woke up and took a picture of Temperance this morning for my journey, and her whole face, his whole face was blocked out from light. And there was something there about anonymous angels and recognizing them. There are many times when we will pass somebody who will smile and brighten our day. There are many times when someone will give way on the road and it will make our life easier and we will get to our destination quicker. There are also times when people won't and we will get there later. But it is very much about recognizing each one of these invisible angelic presences. Helps us to be where we need to be, and acknowledging that, but also acknowledging our own role in that as well. So every step that we take, I hear the song I'll Be Watching You by Sting, every step that we take is being seen. Gosh, that made me go, that that awareness, we know this, but like on a different level this week, is being seen, is being observed, is being watched by our potential, whether you want to call that an angelic force, source, God, whatever, our potential, the higher vision there. And being really aware of that today in particular being really aware. That's what I want to say, being really aware. Okay, so on the Tuesday we have justice. When we're aware of our actions, we're aware of the repercussions and the reactions, and we can stand court for all angles. We can witness all things. We can be our own judge and jury. We can create our own karma from that perspective. And again, I'm really acknowledging the red that justice wears. So today I have a red jumper on, and I felt a little bit like it wasn't for me, like it was too stark, too strong, too grounded. And actually there's something in that with the red. We're talking root chakra, we're talking blood, we're talking passion, creativity, power. So this week in particular, recognizing our power with every decision that we make, with everything that we observe, and how we choose to witness things, and how we choose to judge things, how we choose to punish or appreciate or reward certain things in our life, ourselves included. Keeping that balance, keep the heart light this week in particular, really keep the heart light so that these changes can occur. On the Wednesday we have the Knight of Swords, who is also wearing red. I think most of them are wearing red. Red is the colour this week, the red ray. Oh yeah, I feel that all around my head. It's all tickly. Really, really tuning into the red ray this week in particular. But on the Wednesday, ensuring, gosh, yeah, I feel that in my stomach. Wow. Ensuring that doesn't take over. The red ray is very physical. The red ray is very the red road, the red ray, it can be very ego driven as well. You know, power can get to our heads. Blood can flow through our body or be shed on the ground, and that feels quite poignant Wednesday. I don't want to say wars, internal wars, external wars, whatever, but really being aware of not charging in on the Wednesday. So when this card is laid down, the Knight of Swords, gosh, really, really, there we are. What I was going to say is really there is no clarity there, but actually the moment I thought there is no clarity there, the clarity came. So on the Wednesday, asking for clarity before we go charging in, asking for or connecting, to our own clarity before we go charging in on the Wednesday, because this card is facing backwards. It is facing justice, it is facing temperance, but for me it's very much facing the past. Have we moved on? Have we seen things through the eyes of temperance from all angles? Have we held space and lightened our heart and kept the balance? If we have, the urge to charge head on will be very structured, very powerful, very constructive. If not, they just want to say there will be repercussions. It's as simple as that. On the Thursday, we have the Star card. And I just want to sit for a minute. All of the cards are guiding this week, but the Star card in particular feels as if it is the more prominent guide to sit with the vision now. And that relaxes my shoulders and it almost makes me want to curl up into a ball. To sit with the vision now. To sit with the work that has had to come in order to achieve that vision. To take, so both these characters have cups in their hands, Temperance and the Star. So I had to pause then and come in closer. Funny enough, I've just put the Star on the Monday. I had to pause then and come in closer in order to gain focus, which feels very poignant in regards to what it is we now take forward from the collective. There's going to be a lot of changes from now until March. A lot of changes that many of us saw coming as part of the bigger vision. And what feels very relevant is to have peace with this rather than to keep bringing it up and saying, well, we knew this, well, we told you so, or whatever. It feels really important to almost put ourselves into the situations, to step closer and have a real good look at what is going on for individuals that may be affected by the changes, in order to gain focus, in order to get clarity, in order to recognize what each of us is going through is part of a bigger vision here, even the bits we may not understand or like. Temperance knows this. Temperance can witness all aspects of the collective. The star, when we're in this energy, we can choose then what it is we are taking forward from the past. Feels really relevant from now until March, although it feels like on a daily basis this week in particular. Like, for some reason I want to do this movement. Not quite sure what this is at the moment, but we will see. On a daily basis in particular, it's very much about what is coming down, what are we choosing to do with it, what are we calling down, what energy do we now need, what are we asking for, and what are we doing with it. A continual clearing by the Thursday. On the Friday, we've gone from charging in on the Wednesday almost backwards to the Page of Swords, standing with that one idea rather than trying to push it onto others, this video included, rather than forcing it out there. We are now standing in it instead. So Justice has a sword, the Knight of Swords has a sword, and the Page of Swords has a sword. And for me, that's the three swords, and the pain and the heartbreak that can come from believing we know best, believing our way is the only right way, charging forward with that belief and clinging to it. Really looking at why we're doing that this week so that the bigger vision for ourselves can come in. You know, we may have certain ideas of how we want to do things. Myself in particular, I'm sharing a lot of courses in the next upcoming months. There's also something in the back of my mind that says to be aware that they may not happen. And it's like, I've waited so long for them, but I'm open. All we can do is show up in each moment, and that's very much the Page of Swords, showing up, having that idea, acting on it if we feel we need to, in a very clear, focused way, and letting the universe do the rest, and being grounded in that. So I know through the pandemic, there was a real emphasis, a real recognition that many things are out of our control. Prior to the pandemic, I personally felt collectively there was a lot of energy of my way or the highway. You know, I am a manifestor, which we are, but losing the insight of co-collaboration. The pandemic came, things were put on the back burner, and we almost all had to step back and go, okay, so actually it's really up to the universe. That feels like it's changing. To have grounding in both of those energies, to know when to act, to know when to receive, to know when to give, and to know when to receive, and being very physically connected to the power that we are as a channel for this. So the universe can't create without us, but we can't create with the universe. And we've really had to discover that over the last few years. But it does feel like that lesson is almost, yeah, I can really feel that coming to an end. Okay, that for many of us, we have adapted, we have evolved, we have changed, we have done what was right for us in the moment, which is going to be different for us all. And now it feels almost like sitting on that now and moving forward, taking what we have discovered about who we are, how we create, and our place here, pausing on the Saturday, having confidence in what it is we offer. Remember, Saturday was the day my hand was a bit shaky. Having confidence in what it is we offer. And on the Sunday, we have the Page of Wands. So using that realization now to look at where we're moving towards. Where are we actually moving towards now? Overall for the week, we have the Ten of Cups and the Queen of Wands. Two cards wanted to come out. And I can resonate with the Queen of Wands because astrologically she is a card that's linked to me. The way that I've experienced the Queen of Wands has been very different on many different occasions. You know, I see a lot of people say that the Queen of Wands is do, get, can't stop, can't sit down, which for me is ironic because that's the very thing that she does. She is sat down, actually. She's... Okay, so she is just not going to focus. She's not going to focus. Okay, so the Queen of Wands is sat down. She's the only court card with her legs open, the same as Justice, you know, and that for me is very much linked to the root chakra, our passion, our sexuality, our power, our spirit, is why she is the Queen of Wands. Really connecting to that, I've also experienced the Queen of Wands on a different level when I've embodied her, which is what I do when I travel with the tarot. There isn't an arrogance per se, but there is a knowing that what is for us will not pass us by. And there is a patience and an acceptance there to act when needed, but also to wait in our sovereignty for what is right for us this week. So I feel the energy coming back down to the individual now. Although what is right for us is right for the collective, if we can wait for what is truly for our own soul's growth, our own spiritual evolution. If we can do that, we have the Ten of Cups. The cards are very blurry this week, and that feels very poignant to recognise that a lot of us may believe we know what we want. I need to take this on board myself. From old patterns or old things that might not have manifested, things that we may not be able to let go of, or no, because we've changed. We have changed. And some of the things that we once wanted may not be relevant anymore. That will slowly this week come into focus. Thinking back to the original cards that we had, the Nine of Swords and the Three of Pentacles, really going into our concerns, our worries, what help we may need with them, what guidance we may need with them, connecting to the only energy that can move them forward, being specific with that will bring clarity to the Ten of Cups, will bring focus to the star, will help us define that we are searching for, that image. Now that thing that drives us, our spirit, our next movement forward. There was something else about that and it's just gone out of my mind. Okay, when we acknowledge something and we speak it, it kind of, what I'm getting is the analogy of it floating off and becoming our truth. So being aware of that this week in particular, what are we acknowledging? How are we interpreting it? How is that coming across? And what is that actually manifesting this week in particular? Is there anything else? So let's summarize 3 major arcanas, like I said in the very beginning. Temperance, Justice, the Star. Witnessing what is going on around you, but also being aware of what is going on for you, connecting to your own power to be able to do that, holding court for yourself, holding court for others, keeping balance in your heart this week in particular, so that you know what feels good, what feels light. What I'm feeling with all of this energy is a shift, but underneath it all, it feels empty and released and just done. That's what it feels like, just done. Being aware of the visions you may be carrying, whether or not they're now applicable to where you want to be. That's going to take some raw, naked vulnerability this week, and holding space for that, holding court for that, witnessing all angles of that. Yeah, that is where that's the only amount of pain that I've just felt. All the rest of the shifts have felt really empowering. That one feels, or did feel, quite tight. That felt quite sharp actually around my sacral in particular, right around the belly button, right around our connection to the earth, where our placenta, our cord, our connection to our mother would have come from. And there does still feel like there's some sharp I can feel it as I'm talking. Some sharp movement needed in regards to our connection to the mother, in regards to our connection with the earth, in regards to our connection with ourselves, our nurturing, our creativity, that kind of stuff. But once the awareness is there, it shifts. So we also have 2 sword cards, the Knight of Swords and the Page of Swords. 2 complete different actions this week. 1 charging head on, doing. 1 standing and being. Recognizing what is needed and where and when this week. Working them together, that's what I feel. Really working them together. So what's the difference between the Page of Swords and the Knight of Swords? The horse. Yeah, one of the major differences, and the armor there. Focus on what it is you are riding forward, what it is that carries you forward, how prepared you are for that. We then have 1 Pentacle card, which is the Knight of Pentacles, and really being grounded. Again, I say about focusing on the horse and the armor. The Knight of Pentacles wears the armor and is also on a horse, but there's movement. There is movement there, focused. Focused movement. Very important this week. Very focused movement. Not to do things half-heartedly. If your heart isn't in it, it's not time. You're not ready. Just wait a minute. But real focused, driven movement. That's not to say we might be nervous about it. We may be nervous about it. Remember Saturday, the hand was shaking. But really going back into your body. Are you ready? Are you ready? 2 wand cards, the Queen of Wands and the Page of Wands. Again, what is the difference here? Well, we have a very younger masculine energy in comparison to a mature feminine energy. So nurturing where we may not feel ready in our actions, nurturing where we may feel inadequate this week or unprepared this week. Acknowledging that it's part of our magic, it's part of our training, it's part of our intuition. When we're uncertain of something, yes, we ask questions, yes, we seek guidance, but all is a reflection of what is going on for us internally. So when we're uncertain of something, by sheer asking of the questions, we begin to bring the answers. Uncertainty is a very difficult energy for some, but it is the catalyst to change. If we can be firm in our uncertainties, if we can nurture them, if we can embody them, if we can feel into them, we can recognize that they're all part of the training ground of our intuition. We then have 1 Cup card, and it's the 10 of Cups. I feel a real ending this week of what once made us happy, with gratitude. I don't see any other cup cards to signify a beginning as such. However, Temperance and the Star both hold water carrying vessels. So what I'm really feeling is an ending of what made us happy with gratitude, knowing that it was a very small part of a very big picture. Taking what we have discovered, what we have enjoyed, and that it could be sheer gratitude forward now, and leaving the rest behind. Okay. It's interesting because I pulled 1 more card and it wasn't what I was expecting, and it was the 4 of Swords. And I almost wanted to put it to one side. I almost wanted to believe, is there more? And actually what I feel here is to have peace. I can see the resemblance of the Knights Templar here as well, but to have peace with what we have fought for, to have peace with the journey, to have peace with the healing and the hope that we have gained, the lessons that we have learned. To have peace with who we are is what's going to give us the grounding to move forward. Is there anything else? Not this week. That's what I feel. Not this week. There will always be something else. But this week, if we are to have focus-driven movement, it feels very poignant not to search things out that aren't relevant to this moment in time. You know, to allow the past to come up and be cleared, but without bringing in more aspects to hold space for the cleansing and the healing that is occurring. Take care. Have a wonderful week.